Imagine winning the most unlikely war in history, refusing a throne. To understand why he made that choice, we have to go back to where he started with nothing. February 22, 1732. George is born at his family's estate. Everything begins on February 22, 1732, when George is born at his family's estate in Pope's Creek, deep in a Virginia colony still bound to British tradition. Life doesn't hand him an easy path. At 11, he loses his father and inherits none of the prime lands reserved for his half-brothers, leaving him with only grit and a quiet determination to carve his own future. Instead of following a traditional education, at 16, he steps onto the frontier, working as a surveyor and learning to map uncharted forests, cross freezing rivers, and survive the harsh realities of colonial life. Those years teach him a lesson he never forgets. Resilience isn't given. It's earned, mile after mile. By 20, he inherits Mount Vernon. He could settle into comfort. Instead, he chooses service. When French expansion threatens the western borders, he accepts a perilous diplomatic mission. After crossing 900 miles of untamed wilderness, surviving icy rivers, ambushes, and brutal storms, he returns not just alive, but with a reputation that precedes him. A man who doesn't know how to quit, and who reads the land better than anyone. In 1754, a single ambush in Pennsylvania changes everything. Washington signs a French document he can't fully read, escalating a colonial skirmish into the French and Indian War, the North American theater of what would become the 7 Years' War, the first true global conflict. That early mistake doesn't break him, it forges him. When the revolution erupts, Congress hands him command of an army that has no uniforms, no supplies, and barely any hope. New York falls. Morale shatters. The cause seems lost. Then, on Christmas night 1776, Washington does the impossible. He leads his exhausted men across the ice-choked Delaware under a blizzard, striking Hessian forces at Trenton before dawn. In one night, he doesn't just win a battle, he saves a revolution. Months later at Valley Forge, as cold, starvation, and disease tear through the camps, Washington doesn't command from a distance. He shares the suffering. And when smallpox threatens to wipe out his ranks, he makes a bold medical decision. Mandatory inoculation for the entire Continental Army. It's the first mass immunization campaign in modern military history, turning a biological threat into a strategic advantage. By 1781 at Yorktown, he coordinates American and French forces to trap General Cornwallis, forcing a surrender that effectively ends the war. But his most revolutionary act happens off the battlefield. On December 23, 1783, he stands before Congress and voluntarily resigns his commission. In an age of empires, a victorious general hands power back to the people. Winning the war was only half the battle. Building a lasting republic was the real test. Returning to Mount Vernon, Washington accepts the role of presiding over the 1787 Philadelphia Convention, where the U.S. Constitution is drafted. He speaks rarely, but his presence holds deeply divided delegates together. In 1789, he's elected the nation's first president, unanimously, a record that still stands. From day one, he sets the rules that still shape the office, building a cabinet to share power, declaring neutrality to keep a young nation out of European wars, and walking away after 2 terms, voluntarily limiting his own authority. In his final public act, his will provides for the emancipation of the 123 enslaved people he personally owned, to take effect after Martha's death, though legal constraints prevent him from freeing those who came through her first marriage. It's a quiet, complicated step, but one that reveals a man still wrestling with the contradictions of the nation he helped create. Washington wasn't a mythic hero. He was a man who kept choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. His greatest legacy isn't in marble or monuments, it's in a simple, radical idea. Real power isn't about holding control, it's about knowing when to let it go. Because sometimes, the most powerful revolutions don't start with a sword, they start with a choice.